Week 3 of 2026, and we're going to talk about the stuff that I did. I'm going to try and be succinct, because I actually did a fair few things, and I may have recorded a version of this where I have to way too long. So, I guess we got some stuff that I did like on my iPad, which is why this is here. I read some books. So I read Wilder Girls, Catching Teller Crow, and Feed. Specifically the M.T. Anderson, because I know that there's two different books like called Feed. They're books that I have for an upcoming uni course. So that's why I read those. I have one more book to read for it, so that's what I'm reading now, The Hate You Give. And I also need to watch Juno. But once I've done those, I'm gonna read like some just silly kids books and stuff just for a bit of a palate cleanse, read some light, fluffy stuff that makes me feel smart because it's for 10-year-olds. So yeah, and then I also have watched, this week I watched Strictly Ballroom, which I've seen before. I like the film. It's been a while though. I forgot how Australian it is. Like, you know how like sometimes you just like, whoa, okay, those are some accents. I'm Australian, but like yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, that's what we sound like. I also started watching Pan's Labyrinth, which I have also seen. I did it for like English, which apparently was funny to someone I told. But yeah, for English, in year 12, that was one of our texts. But I bumped it and lost my spot. I was like about where the frog scene is, if you're familiar with the movie. Um, so yeah, I need to finish that. Uh, some other stuff. So yes, I did some reading stuff. I'm about halfway through the Soriku document, so it's over here. Um, I have put sort of Between Men, sort of, which is what my other academic text I was reading. I put that kind of on hold. I'm gonna finish the Soriku document and then just focus. Like I was trying to read both, but it wasn't working. We made some zines, which were here. Which I'm planning to give like to my uni. So my uni has like a hangout space, and my plan is to like it's got like a hangout space that has like a book swap. And I was gonna put these in there to try and encourage people to make zines in the uni, because I want to see more zines, and I figure that if I like start that, then maybe I'll see some. And also, I need to like get less attached to my individual pieces, especially like as someone who makes candy and things. Like, I've never really sold my work and stuff, but like I feel like that I might, I don't know, get sad if I, even though I'm like selling it, I might get sad, selling it away. So I feel like that I intentionally made those so they like I won't photocopy and have like copies and stuff. They'll just go to the void. So I guess like prepare myself for like when I'm selling stuff. I mean, for like things that I like, zines that I plan to sell, it makes sense to have a master copy that I photocopy so that I don't have to make them from scratch every time. But for those, and then I also have these little like they have inserts, encouraging people to make zines, and I've got like my Instagram on the back so that if someone thinks it's cool, they can contact me and we can talk about zines or whatever. I was like, talk about like the poetry or Donald Duck, which are what basically the two topics. We've got this box which is gonna have the Kingdom Hearts pins. I know it's right there in the name. I tried to make like a stencil thing. It worked better on that side than it did that. It's still sort of drying, so I am not gonna move it too much. We've started making a Riku candy cuff, but I ran out of the specific bead colors, so I need to go buy some more. I did make it quite big because I'm hoping that'll make it easier for me to wear. Because I like making candy, but then I don't wear it because like it can get irritating and stuff. But I'm also like, oh, my wrist is kind of small, so I'm hoping that it's not too big. What am I looking for? Oh, okay. I also got an iron, so I've started doing some ironing beads. I need to get better at actually, like, ironing them long enough. Like, for example, there was also a red one that I made, but I ironed it for so short of a time, it just didn't fuse together at all. And also made this keyblade, which is a lot more flimsy than I thought it would be, so I'm not entirely sure what to do with it, because I had the idea of maybe, like, using it as a necklace pendant, but I don't know if it's strong enough. Like, I'm worried that if I do that, it'll bang and stuff and break, and I don't want that to happen. Like, I'm thinking of, like, snap in half here kind of thing. Oh, okay, we'll probably talk about stuff on the screen. So, on Thursday, last week, so, like, day 1 of this week, it was right after I had made the Riku, which meant my fingers hurt, so I couldn't draw, I couldn't write by hand, which is, what I need to annotate and write notes about, the academic stuff. So I started writing sonnets, which, yeah, over here. So I've written 7 sonnets, one for every day. So basically what I do is I get the Shakespeare sonnet. This is for a zine idea. So get the Shakespeare sonnet, read it, annotate a little, like figure out roughly what it's about, maybe pick out some key like techniques, themes, and then write one of my own. Because I was kind of inspired by, like, I did a little bit of studying Shakespeare as part of, like, my first uni course for the English literature was, like, basically, like, a literature overview, and it briefly went over Shakespeare. And Shakespeare's sonnets have 2 sort of sequences. There's the fair youth and the, dark lady. And the fair youth is a dude. And a lot of the romantic coded sonnets are about a guy. And I'm like, writing that many sonnets, because it's a lot. It's a substantial amount. Like, I think it's over 100 sonnets about a guy. And I'm like, that sounds pretty gay. But, so, not the teacher that I had for that course, but one of the others at the uni is basically like a Shakespeare expert. Like, he went over to London last year to help with something. Like, he knows his stuff. Like, I know that most English people, like, as in English literature people, love Shakespeare, but, like, it sounds like this is on a whole other level for this guy, and he doesn't really interpret it as specifically gay. So I was intrigued, and I'm like, what if I, like, just write a heap of sonnets about dudes? At what point does that sound kind of gay? But yeah, so far, actually, I am kind of in agreement. So far, all the sonnets have been just Shakespeare trying to convince this, let's say, hypothetical guy, because I don't know if this fair youth existed. I think that is up to debate. But basically, he's trying to be like, hey, dude, you're, like, super pretty, and, like, you're gonna get old one day and die, and your beauty will die with you, so, like, you should have babies. Which, okay, when I say it like that, when I say it like that, it sounds gay. No, but, like, I do know from the little understanding I have about the Elizabethan era that, like, beauty was associated with goodness and stuff, and, like, I also kind of see it almost as, like, this sort of patriarchal figure trying to get this guy to, like, conform. Like, yeah, I feel like it doesn't come across like the Shakespeare guy is, like, saying, oh, you're so beautiful in a, like, I like you kind of way. Like, it almost feels like yeah, paternal, like, this older guy being like, what are you doing, kiddo? When are you gonna give me kids? When am I gonna have grandkids? That kind of vibe. But anyway, so I've been writing sort of, yeah, inspired. I'm not gonna read them out. Look, I'm gonna be vulnerable enough to show you guys that I've been writing sonnets, which is kind of, like, I'm not good at poetry. That's also, like, what one of the zines is about. Like, poetry's never been my thing. It's just never clicked with me, which is part of why I'm doing this exercise, is I want to get it. I want to really appreciate this form, but it's just never really been my thing. And yeah, so, like, there's multiple facets as to why I'm doing this. But yeah, so if you want to read them, you can pause the screen, but I'm not going to read them out. I'm also, because I don't read them out loud as I'm writing them, I'm not entirely sure that they all fit the meter. They should all fit the syllable count, but, like, meter's hard. Words are hard. So that's sonnet 2. Sonnet 3. Yeah, like, I'll either take, words, techniques, and stuff from, like, the corresponding sonnet and sort of use it as inspiration. These aren't telling some guy to breed. That felt weird. I didn't want to write about that. So I just, that's not what I'm doing. I also just feel like that is kind of a product of its time. Yeah, 5, 6. I did really appreciate that the sonnets are just, like, numbered or, like, referred to by their first line, because I hate naming stuff. Like me. It's been 4 years. I still need to come up with a name. I also, like, wanted to be experimental, so, like, these lines are backwards, which I had to, like, go find a website to put the words backwards so that I could do that. But I thought that was cool. I thought that was neat, that's part of, like, the thing. Okay, so we've been writing sonnets, we've been reading books, we did a box, we did some candy, we did some ironing beads, made some zines, but that's not all. And that's not, I sound like an infomercial. It's like, You wanted like for 7 zines. No wait, 7 sonnets. Plus, if you order now, you'll also get 2 zines, a half-finished candy, some ironing beads. I had an idea. So, I like making manga and stuff. And I had the idea on, I think it was Friday. So it hasn't quite been the entire week. I think it was Friday was the idea day. And I also drew out the main guy. Because this is the first time I've ever had an idea that's actually come with a character pretty much designed in my head. Usually I have to put pen to paper and stuff. But like, this was my first sort of sketch. And this is pretty close to what I ended up looking like. Maybe a little bit more refined in terms of like the art being a bit nicer. I also like realize suspenders don't work like this. But basically, like the big hat, the poofy pants sort of thing. This is Digby. But yeah, I was like shocked at this story. And like literally what inspired me is I was just like doom scrolling, as you do, on Instagram, because I'm a boomer. Apparently that's where the boomers doom scroll. The kids are on TikTok. I watch reels. I've tried TikTok. It's just not my jam. And now I'm singing Pump Up the Jam in my head. But basically it was just like a list of like, oh, these are jobs that used to exist. And I saw one for a lamplighter. And this kid's story, Digby, just kind of popped into, well, okay, his character design and attitude popped into my head. I did have to work out the story a little bit. This is the other character. So like I've got like reference images for their vibes. The first drawing I did like just based off my head, and then I like refined it to make sure, you know, suspenders are how they actually work, certain like cuts of the shirt and stuff. But yeah, basically like it didn't take a lot of iteration. There's like a little monster thing, but yeah. And then I sort of, you know, plotting out the story. So basically the story I had in my head was like the ending. I knew how I wanted it to end. I knew like that final sort of shot, and I had to just figure out a way to get there. So basically, I guess like, see, I need to come up with a pitch as well, like selling this one shot to people. Like, I mean, that I can figure that out once I've got it, but because like I have heard this sort of elevator pitch formula where it's like it's Bam mixed with Bam. It does sort of but I don't know what I would say it is. I guess it's too sort of typically like shonen-y, like, you know, young plucky kid, like think like Hunter x Hunter, Naruto, so like that sort of age. Young plucky kid fights stuff. So yeah, he's a lamplighter, which is what it sounds like. He lights lamps. And yeah, so I came out with like sort of basic beats, and then this is like the plan, like so each page is a little sticky note. And we've got, you know, those are like reference images I used for storyboarding, because I like to keep all my reference images together, because I found that like if I use from past experience, I've found like reference images during the storyboarding phase, and then just like close the tab and come back later. If you keep track of them, keep them all together. And this is my storyboard. Very dodgy. I set it up like the book, because I usually actually work right to left. I read a lot of manga. This feels more natural. But I live in Australia. I live in an English-speaking country. Left to right is what is going to be more normal to, you know, who I would hypothetically sell it to. Because I could, like, you know, I don't know, when I get around to making the stall and stuff, I could sell this. You know, like, I guess, like a sort of zine sort of style thing. But yeah, so that's why it's left to right, which does still feel weird to me, just because I'm so, like, I don't know, just, I've always worked the other way around, basically, because that's just what feels more normal to me, because that's just what I've read. And especially, like, you know, if you're looking at, like, manga pages, layouts and stuff, like, so I bought a heap of manga page layout, things from Monitor Comics. I use these all the time. It makes my life so much easier. But you kind of need to, like, flip them to make it work for this formatting. So, yeah, go through this. And, like, again, this art is bad. It's very, you know, bare bones. You know, rushed, loosey-goosey, barely a step above stick figures, but, you know, it gives page layout and, like, basic sort of things. And, like, there's little notes and stuff. And then I've actually, yeah, so that's storyboarding. And then the next step, so I was trying to think of, like, for the sort of the setting, is I wanted to, like, make, like, a 3D model, and I ended up using Genshin Sirena Teapot. So I did consider The Sims, but, I don't have it installed at the moment, because I lost access to all the funky stuff. because I was definitely going with the Jack Sparrow approach, if you get my drift. And the site went down. And yeah, I have paid for some of the Sims expansion packs, but I forgot what the origin password was. And I don't want to go back to vanilla mode. So yeah, basically, but that's better for like more modern stuff anyway. And also, like, it's not good for making a street. Like, if you've played The Sims, just sort of your houses are spaced far apart and things. But I realized that, like, the Genshin Serenity Teapot could do this. So yeah, this is basically like so we've got like the storyboard. This is like storyboard 2.0 with a bit more going on, like some more expressions, like photo bashing together of things. And yeah, so I've also done like page 2. So I've specifically used Xiao to represent Digby because he's short. I want Digby to be small. And then bam, 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 we've actually got a page. Okay, we'll show the other. So I have started sketching out page 2, but we have a page done. This is what it looks like. Yeah, so I made sure to like change up the buildings so they don't just look like they're copied from Genshin because I don't want to get in trouble. But I basically used it to figure out like the shaping and perspective. And I also wanted to make the lamps taller because I don't think the Genshin lights weren't the right size for me. But yeah, this is Digby. Isn't he beautiful? He kind of looks ugly, but like I say that affectionately. Like, you know how like sometimes manga will have characters, but like you can't really tell which characters are more attractive than others because they all sort of have similar faces and like stuff. But I wanted him to like look a little bit rougher around the edges. Like he's poor. He would probably eat some rocks. Like I wanted him to give that kind of vibe. Kind of like I think it's Venture. I have a friend that really loves Overwatch and like he streams it and stuff. So I know, and his favorite character is Venture. So I'm vaguely familiar with Venture from Overwatch. I played it once, like on his live stream. But yeah, that's I guess like Venture meets Sora. So like Sora, but he would eat rocks. That's basically my impression of Venture. Venture's like a rock person that would go nom nom nom. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's the vibes I get. Someone please tell me if I'm wrong or right, or if I'm just like completely slandering this character for no reason. Look, I would eat rocks if I could. I sometimes buy like this like chocolate you can buy that's shaped like pebbles and I eat it to satisfy that. So yeah, those are the main things. Well that's the big boy. Working on a manga one shot. Do I have a manga series that like I'm procrastinating on? Yes. But like, okay, I like my gay vampire boys, but like some of the themes and ideas of it, look, they feel different now that some things like in the actual real world have changed since I started writing it, and I'm like, ooh, this doesn't hit the same. I still want my boys to get a story, but I don't know if the story I was gonna tell is the right one. And I mean, if Digby takes off, maybe Digby will be the star of the show. So yeah, read the books, watched the movie, talked about the sonnets, made manga, made the zines, ironing beads. Oh, okay. I have one last thing to show. I think I made a shirts. Oh, there's my Kingdom Hearts pants as well that I made. But yeah, I made this thing a while ago. It's like meant to be like a sort of screen printing thing, and then like I just painted sort of around it. It's meant to give that sort of like Y2K, like those shirts that have so much going on. Like they have like swirls and hearts and crosses and bling. Like I don't know what the style of shirt is called, and I'm hoping I'm describing it right because I don't think that it necessarily. Look, I couldn't paint enough details to do that. But that was the inspiration. That sort of like Y2K shirt. So yeah, we've got this halfway through the Sariku. So hopefully, like, in the next couple of weeks, I finish that and I can go back to, like, some of my other, like, actually academic texts. We've been reading sonnets, and yeah, need to go buy some beads to finish off the Riku cuff. Because I think it'd be cool. Like, the plan is to have, like, so this thing over here, and then there'll be, like, a rotator cuff. I also might get like some shrinky so I can put like a little charm. It was inspired by like a conversation I had with someone in a Discord server where they wanted to make like a big rotator cuff that was like all cutesy and pink, but like had like I think it was Zemnis. They were gonna put like a cute little cutesy sort of Zemnis cuff, but I'm doing it for Riku because Riku's my boy. Maybe I'll make some other characters as well, but I do need to like get more beads. It is surprising how quickly you go through like beads, especially like if because most standard packs you can get at like Spotlight, Kmart, Target, like they'll have an okay amount of beads, but they'll often have multiple colors. Like I intentionally go after packets that have as few colors, like different colors as possible, so I get more of each color. Um, there is a site that I have bought from that were really good for beads, but I need to save up and I need to get a better system to have more of like specific for big projects because I do really like making cuffs. Like this doesn't take that long, honestly. Um, but I think I do prefer making some of these bigger projects, like these big chunky things. Yeah. So I think that's week 3 of 2026. I also think I did get to play Recoded once. I haven't gotten around to playing Dream Drop Distance. I'm still annoyed. Um, my schedule isn't allowing for it, which this is the difficulty sometimes of like where in like one area you're really good at like yeah, it's like woo, we're doing this thing, but I think it's finding that balance of, I have a lot of different things I want to be doing with my time. I want to read, write notes, draw. I want to, play Kingdom Hearts and stuff. My plan, I think, is to possibly just maybe like play Recoded, finish that, and then maybe to focus on Dream Drop. Just I don't know, I don't know how good I can balance the two, or if I should just focus on one or the other. I am enjoying Recoded though. Maybe Recoded will get ditched though, considering the boss fight I got stuck on last time. But yeah, that's basically week 3 of 2020. I was gonna say 2023. No, it's 2026. Yeah, I think that this was a pretty productive week. We made lots of cool stuff. And I don't have much else to say. Hopefully next week's good, and I'll have even more of Digby to show off. That's the goal. The primary goal is to show off more of my boy Digby. And hopefully to have more Kingdom Hearts to talk about, and more Kingdom Hearts stuff that I've made, because I want to make a video talking about like what to do like when your fandom doesn't have much. So talking about different like things that you can make, like so like making candy, ironing beads, yeah, specifically projects that are intended to be like low barrier to entry. Because saying like, oh, you can write fan fiction, make fan art, like the writing and drawing are skills that you have to like cultivate over a considerable amount of time, which can make them kind of daunting. And I feel like those are things that people are gonna think of naturally. So like yeah, thinking of sort of other sort of projects and stuff that you can do if there's no merch to buy, because I want more Kingdom Hearts stuff in my life, but it's so difficult to get. So yeah, that's the week.